You're already spending my money.
Doesn't... Hang on. Isn't there already a Destiny set?
We've got to be careful about how we say Destiny here
Yeah,
on this
which
show,
Destiny
because
are you
Boston might suddenly perk up.
Right.
Specifically, it's the ship from Stargate Universe.
Yeah, I thought I saw.
There's a Lego Last Wish.
Okay.
And an Arcadia jump ship, an aspect of glass building set.
Are those all like the Lego ideas where you vote on them or whatever
They're
it's
all
called?
No, they're all custom sets that you can
Oh,
basically build the order together.
right.
So there's a really fucking great one, and I might have to buy it eventually when I feel more comfortable with my financial situation. But there's a fucking fantastic one, which is it's Lego made, but it's custom instructions and custom build for the Mad Max Interceptor.
Okay.
And it comes with an optional remote control section, so you can like take the guts out and put the RC car parts in it, and it becomes a remote control Lego one. And like, fuck, dude,
that's pretty cool.
Like,
Oh, that's what it was. So there was a video of some guy who basically like homemade his own Destiny. Yeah, and there's 2 videos, and the thing is fucking huge.
Yeah, dude.
Gotta go big, man.
If Lord Shaxx taught me anything, it's go big or go home.
That's right. Throw more grenades. You should be throwing more grenades right now.
Yep. Send them to the wolves.
That's right.
So on and so forth. That was correct, right? That is Lord Shaxx, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, the Crucible guy.
Oh, thank fuck for that. Yeah. Thank God.
You got it right. All right, you guys ready to get this thing started?
Yep.
Fuck no, but sure.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi.
And the Nimp.
Every day's a struggle.
That's right.
Welcome back, Nimp.
That's right. Yes, welcome back. Appreciate you being back. Let's talk real quickly about patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers or something along those lines.
Yeah, you probably know the deal by now. You get early access, exclusive, and behind-the-scenes cool stuff. The $5 a month is the recommended tier. That gets you everything, anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated, as always. Real quick, because I always forget it, don't forget to link your Patreon and Discord accounts together. That we get the super secret, not so secret Patreon peeps channel over on the Discord. And you can vote for...
Very important right now.
Yeah, you can vote for some of the very important things over in that channel. Use emoji power for good over there. And don't forget you can access to the exclusive episodes like The Outcast, where we're talking about all the other stuff that's going on in our life except for video games. Although this week we do talk about our favorite Metal Gears, so you can get a little bit of video game stuff over there as well.
Not the games, the actual Gears.
That's right, the actual Gears. Don't worry about like the playing of the games. I want to think
the things not the plot.
Yeah, the things that roar. You know, those things. And you also get access to the Wayward Sons, which is the Supernatural TV show Watchcast that Moon and Nimp are going through. That comes out every other week. They're well into season 2 at the moment. Trucking right along, driving that car down that road towards the ghosts. I know
You
the
got
show.
the vibe about right. That's fine.
Yeah.
You got it about right. You're good.
And you'll also get access to the Critical Misses production meeting. That's another exclusive at the $5 tier, where Moon and I are talking about all the behind-the-scenes spreadsheet diving, coming up with ideas. Season 27's one was a real good one for like, oh no, we came up with a really giant season. And then we needed to put out another episode for the actual season 27. So...
I was going to say season 2 production meeting 27A and then production meeting 27.
Yeah, exactly. So you also get early access to We Rogue Like It, where Moon and I are playing as many roguelikes as we can get our hands on. And then Critical Misses, where we're catching up on all the media hits we missed. And all of that and more. Just a lot of stuff coming out every week over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones on numbers. Hey, Boston, do you
Yes,
ever
sir.
feel like butter spread over too much bread?
Thank you. Also wanted to put a quick plug in here for the 2 games we're playing for our respective shows at the moment. On We Roguelike It, we're playing Slice and Dice. You can check that out. There's an itch.io page over there. Big shout out to the developer for commenting on our episode 1 of that on YouTube. Thank you very much. Love to hear developers watching our stuff. Also, very happy that they appreciated that we appreciated the tutorial, because they said they had a nightmare implementing it. So Slice and Dice has an incredible tutorial. Please play through it if you play that game. And you should.
It's always great to have
flavor text.
I was gonna say, it's always great to have positive feedback on something that gave you so much trouble.
Yeah, 100%. And for Game Club, we're playing Steam World Build. I keep messing up those words. So Steam World Build. This will be the last week we're going to play it. We're going to be doing the upcoming recap episode. Should be recording this upcoming weekend. So go check out that stuff. Play along with us.
I get the impression that one will be divisive.
Yeah, you want to hear one that has
amongst ourselves.
Yeah, the potential to be a little bit spicy. Not that we're going to ever fight with each other, but maybe we'll be fighting with our feelings about a game. Maybe we should...
this one might be it.
Yeah, check that one out. So, all that out of the way. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Well, I already deleted my notes saying Slice and Dice, just as a reminder, so that's good. Thank you for covering that front.
You're welcome.
Microscopic mention. I wrapped up Russia Disney-Pixar Adventure. It's done, thank God.
Yes.
It's full games code. It's uninstalled. Then I realized I have the Disneyland Connected Adventure game on my Xbox as well.
Oh, no.
And I already have 2 achievements in it, so guess what's next? Anyway, that one's going to be a nightmare because that one looks like it's like a 50-hour completion, but whatever.
Pull out that Connect. Let's go.
I'm going to end with the smallest game here because I want to do something weird for that one. So let's talk about Lies of P. I finally looped myself back into playing Lies of P. Without spoiling or talking or breaking anything down too much, I have just arrived at the church. I know that is not far in the game because there is like basically a chapter selection for where you can fast travel to, and it looks like it's got like 15 spaces at the top, and I'm up to like number 4. So I have a sneaking suspicion that I haven't even barely scratched the surface of this game so far.
Not all tabs are treated equally.
Oh, I know, because this is one of them which is like 1 fast travel and one of them which is like 7. So
yeah,
I don't even know what to expect at this point. I did just finish the factory. When you did the factory nip, did you fight the giant thing in the poison water, or did you just avoid that?
Yeah, no, I did, because remember I said like an hour or 2 later I finally found the lever that gets rid of all the poison water.
Okay, because I still haven't found that lever. Okay, so there's a lever in that map.
Yeah, there's a bunch of broken pipes that you'll walk through, and then there's going to be one of those gravedigger things that busts through a wall like Kool-Aid Man. It's behind that thing. Yeah.
Okay, because apparently I missed the prompt saying switch the lever, because I've dealt with that dude. I've gone through those pipes. I know exactly how to get there. I just didn't hit a lever, so that's still full of poison water. So I did do the poison water run and go and get the weapon that's down there and all of the other gubbins. I just didn't kill him yet.
Yeah. I can't tell you how big of a disappointment that was. I was like, oh, a lever, and I pull it, and it shows me the cutscene of that being drained. I'm like, are you kidding
Son
me?
Of a...
Yeah. So one of the things I'm experiencing so far with this game is it feels like every time I go into a new zone, they're introducing new mechanics constantly, like 3 or 4 each time I go into a new zone. Not even talking about the Legion arm, which I just unlocked the dude to help me upgrade that thing.
Yep.
I also got the Heart of P orbs, whatever those things are.
The P organs?
Which, yes, those things, whatever they do. I also just unlocked the Wish Cube, which is when you can wish upon a star. Get it? Yep. Do you get it, everybody? It's Wish Upon a Star because it's Pinocchio. Do you get it?
It's pretty good.
And I also just got the option to put elemental effects onto my grinder.
Yep.
Potential weird phrasing there, but I'm fine with that. And there was something else I just unlocked too, but I can't remember what it is because there's like 15 different things currently going on at any given moment. Like, I don't know. I upgraded this weapon. I figured out what my highest stat was, and then I used a crank to turn the weapon into more of the stat that I have maxed out, so that the weapon does more damage. I'm slowly wrapping my heads around these systems in this game, but it's introducing them to me faster than I'm wrapping my head around the old one. So I'm sure in about 20 hours, I'll understand what the wish box is, the wish cube thing.
The wish cube, don't worry about that right now. They give that
it's just a consumable, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can put stuff in it that you can consume. They give that to you super early. You can't purchase any more things to put into that wish box until after you beat a boss later on. So you'll know because you'll get a merchant that specifically deals with that box.
Okay, because I also know that I've got a bunch of quote unquote boss souls.
Yep.
And still don't have a way to, as the Demon Souls tradition represents, turn them into weapons.
Right. So there is an individual who you can eventually allow into the hotel that you can swap those with. You can also not allow them. Yes.
You said allow. Does that mean he's going to kill everybody if I allow him into the hotel?
Right. How much of a Dark Souls is this?
But you'll No. I will tell you right now.
You know it.
This specific character will not kill the occupants of the hotel if you allow them in, which is why I'm not telling you which character it is.
Right.
Because I don't want to spoil all the fun.
The hotel.
But, yeah, so you will find them, and if you don't allow them in the first time, I think there's like 2 or 3 other chances that you have to let them in eventually. So So yeah.
Also, I have a problem. I deliberately went back to areas to fight. I was reminded by the video Boston's playing on the video version. I found somebody who was hidden, like down a ladder, like a survivor, who is a human, which means they are nightmarishly quick and basically mini bosses. I found that person, and then when I finished the factory level, I looped back around and then went down and dealt with that person. And then, rather than just lie, which is kind of the point of the game, it literally says lie or die every single time you die.
Right.
And then when it's loading, it says now lying instead of loading, and it's Pinocchio's nose going across the screen.
Yeah, it's a very fantastic. They know what they're doing. It's great.
Rather than lie to this person, instead I said nothing, and now they hate me and started attacking me. So I guess I'm dealing with that now. That was the thing that led to the church.
Oh, okay. That guy's going to end up attacking you no matter what, even if you lied to him.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. Everyone in this game with a weird animal mask seems like the
stalkers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the game is fun so far. It's hard, but not like punishingly hard. Like I'm not feeling like it's deliberately stepping on my throat at any particular point. It's just like, maybe a couple of extra moves here or there, or maybe if I was a little bit quicker on my dodge, I would have been better.
Right. Now you have the pattern. You got it next time. That sort of thing.
Exactly. And then sometimes it's just me making a stupid decision, like the old classic. Oh, I can hit for 3. Well, no, you can't. Right. Kind of decision-making process, which is, that's Dark Souls all over. Do 2, then run away. That's the key every single time. 2 and run, 2 and run. Never go for 3.
Yeah, don't get greedy.
Yeah, because the third one is the one where they do the fancy animation, and the third one is the one where you will get messed up. That's the whole point of it. I feel like I'm talking to Shaq. Never go for 3. Speaking of Super Bowl, how's Shaq doing this year? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I get it. I know it's a bad joke. I can't help it. Anyway, Lies of P seems to be really fun so far. Like I said, it's punishing, but not overly punishing. So I'm having a good chilled out kind of time with it. Pharaoh in chat says, "Why is Cloud wearing a donkey mask?" Talking about the first hunter that you come through. Literally the exact thing I said out loud when I ran into that boss. I was like, oh, hey, it's Cloud, and they're wearing a donkey mask. Great.
There is a boss way later on that has a bigger sword that looks like a Buster sword.
Yes.
It's like, I want that weapon, and you do not get it.
Oh, bummer.
Of course, why not? Why would you? Okay, the other thing I played, because I've only got like 3 things here. Lethal Company. I played Lethal Company on Friday. Shock of shocks, I know. Who would have thought Moon is playing Lethal Company on a Friday? It was fun. Just running around doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So, I did mention it in the chat for the community. If you see me send that message out saying that the space, just hit me up if you want to play or if you can play. We can get you set up in moments. We just were running around like crazy people, like basically having like a chat and a catch up kind of thing, because there was only 3 of us this week, so we just were having a rundown of how everybody's weeks have been going. If you ever play with me, there's 3 things you should know. Number 1, I shop like Moon, which means to say I will buy 6 walkie-talkies and 6 flashlights every chance I can. So therefore, we have like 40 in the ship. So when you die, it doesn't matter. Who cares if we lost the flashlight?
You don't have to worry about it.
We have spares.
It's all good.
Yep.
Number 2, Mr. Squeaky must be bought if he ever shows up.
Correct.
Boston knows who I'm talking about. It's a little cuddly toy. He sits on the table. He protects the teleporter button. That is his job.
That's right.
You squeak him for luck. Number 3, the third and final rule about Lethal Company Club. We don't talk about Lethal Company Club. The third and final rule is, if we have a whoopee cushion, we keep it and it never gets sold. If we have multiple, which I've never had so far, they get scattered across the floor in the spaceship, so that then when anybody is running around, they step on it and it goes in many different tones.
Yep.
It is vitally important that you understand these rules. Other than that, it's just have fun. Who cares if you die? Who cares if things go south? We're all not taking it seriously. We are not quote unquote tryhards.
I mean, the whole point of the game is for you. You're not going to win a run. You're going to die. So, like, no matter where you die, that's the inevitable point of the run anyway. You're just supposed to have fun and see how far you can get.
We go to 1900.
It's a game of inches, not miles.
That's right.
100%. And yeah, I think our quota was 1900.
Wow.
That we got to, and oh boy, with 3 people, could we not do that?
Yeah, man.
It was rough, we'll say. However, we started another run. We had a good time. One thing. So, I like to push things to the limit. If I can, I will not take a flashlight in. If I can, I will try and go in with 1 item and that's it, just so I have more space. So we were doing a run. We were having a good time. Bunch of stuff on the ship. We're like, okay, so we got a little bit of time. We're just going to go back in, see how things go. Myself and Rob, we go back in. Ash stays on the ship. So while we're running around like crazy trying to, because there's like $2,800 worth of items in the map, and it's like we got like 400. There's lots more to be got. So we're running around. We're gathering a bunch of stuff. I'm in the front without a flashlight. For some reason, I'm in the front. Rob is behind me with a flashlight. And as we're going through this, like, we knew there was a bracken in there. We'd left when there was a bracken at the front door. There was a moment where me and Rob were leaving to go and drop stuff off. And as we're doing that, the bracken sticks his face right in front of the doorway. We look at him and he runs off down the side corridor. So I went in. This was like the main entrance lobby. So I went in. Rob came in behind me. And as Rob's walking past me, I'm just looking to the left, staring at the bracken as he's backing away. Problem is I look too long and he starts coming straight back towards me, at which point I start screaming, I looked at him too long, and ran out the door. So we go back in after dropping our stuff off at the ship, and we're doing a lot of exploring. It's like, well, there's a bracken around, so we know that, so we know to be very careful. And as we get deep into the section that we haven't really been to, I literally see a whoopee cushion on the floor. This is why I reinforced the rules, because I knew the whoopee cushion was going to come up.
And like a moth to the flame.
I see the whoopee cushion, and I go, pick it up, turn around to show Rob the delicious finds that we've had. And as I turn around, there's a bracken wrapping itself around his face and dragging him into the dark. And I was like,
welp.
I followed the blood trail.
That's right.
I followed the blood trail for like 2 corners, and I was like, "Sorry, Rob, I'm not going to do it. I have too vital loot with me right now to be chasing after your dead body."
One whoopee cushion squeeze to the sky, and then get out of there.
Exactly. So then I turned around and I grabbed his flashlight and I boogied straight out the door as quickly as I could. I got the whoopee cushion back to the ship safe. We had a teleporter, so we teleported his body back, picked her up, dropped it, the usual funk. And now, on that save file, we have a whoopee cushion and a Mr. Squeaky. So
perfect.
All we need is another round of moon shopping, and then I'll feel pretty comfortable about that save.
There you go.
We have 5 flashlights, but we need 6 more. You've got to understand. We need 6 more.
That's right. There's a minimum.
Has to be an overage.
Right.
Yes. Lethal Company. I don't know why. It's just... it's hard to put into words. Like, it looks stupid. It looks dumb. Like, you look at it and it's like, well, this doesn't look great. But I have not played a game that... when you are alone, you feel alone. Like the second you are separated from everybody and you don't know if anybody's alive or dead, that's when you feel alone. That's when you feel that little tingle go down your spine where you're just like, I'm 100% alone right now, and I don't know if anybody else is alive or if they're all dead or not. And you know they could be dead.
It's interesting because every other game we're playing with Discord. And when you take Discord away, there's a lot of like, oh no, I don't know. Hello, anyone alive? No one is alive. Oh god.
Yeah, it's unreal how it can be so effective and so simple at the same time. It's my hat's off to the creator. Like, apparently he's made hundreds of games, and this is just the one that clicked. So I'm very glad that he is doing really well. And keep the updates coming. And I'm sure I'll find a way to play around with more mods. I mentioned to Nimp there is a mod that puts an SCP like facility as a potential for the maps.
Yeah, and I'm just like, some of those things that you were talking about are already SCP things.
Exactly.
It's like all it's missing is that code of pain.
Right. It's only a matter of time.
Well, you pick up the mask, you put it on your face, and everybody dies.
That's but very specifically an SCP thing.
Right.
Did I talk on the show about my dad moment with Justin? I don't think I did.
I don't think so.
I think we talked about I didn't, because we talked about playing it with Bill, but I didn't talk about playing it with Rob and Justin on the Saturday. On that run, I'm sorry, I have to mention because I did go full dad mode. On that run while we were playing with them, we were on Rend, the mansion map, and we had a bunch of loot coming in and stuff like that. And Ash and Rob were on the way back from the place, or to the place. And me and Justin had just arrived back on the ship to drop a bunch of stuff off. And as we did, like, I'm at the front of the ship looking forwards. And because it's proximity chat, Justin's on the radio and he's standing right behind me going like, oh, I'm just going to put one of these masks on. And I immediately snap turn 180 and it's like, no, Justin, no!
Put it down.
Like a really angry, strict dad. Like, you stop. You
hit him with the rolled up newspaper.
Right,
stop it.
Yeah. Like, you knock it off. And he's like, what? It's not going to, like, I'm just going to kill myself. It's like, no, dude, you're on the ship. You're going to kill me and then everybody else.
That's right. The other two are going to come back to the ship and be like, boy, it's really quiet.
Yeah, exactly. I panicked so much, dude.
Put it down.
It was so scary. Ugh. Anyway, my final game is A Short Hike. This is a small game on Game Pass. This is the quote-unquote meditative / zen game where you are a penguin, you are at a mountain, you walk up to the top of the mountain. It's more complicated than that. There's golden feathers, there's people you can talk to, quests to take part in. It's a pixely kind of cutesy art style. It's a good chill-out game. Like, it's very, very zen to just go around and start talking to anybody. There's no timing, there's no pressure, there's no anything like that. You can get golden feathers, which give you a double jump, and then you can get up to 20 of them, which gives you a 20 jump, whatever the name for that would be.
Nice.
Cool. And then you can glide around and do all this kind of stuff. It's just been a fun little game that I've been playing it for a couple of weeks, but I just haven't talked about it so far. But basically, you are this penguin who has a real life and a real job, and you go on vacation to the mountain to see your aunt. and relax. And part of that relaxing is going on a quote-unquote short hike, which is actually a longer hike than you expect, because that's what you have to do to get to the top of the mountain. But on the way, you meet a bunch of other animal characters, you collect a bunch of stuff, you get a shovel and, you know, a bucket and all this other kind of stuff. It is genuinely just a fun little jumping around, exploring thing. The camera could do with a little work, in my personal opinion, because it's an isometric viewpoint that rotates as you go around this fully 3D mountain. But then when it shifts perspective, you can sometimes lose controls, kind of like tank controls in early Resident Evil.
Sure.
Where if you don't keep hold of forwards and then suddenly you start pressing forwards, you're actually going backwards kind of situation.
Right.
It can be that little picky in places with regards to that. But I've just had a fun time just like literally going around, pondering on the meaning of life and how bland toast is, which is weird, but sure. But also, like, it explores like the themes of like being too busy doing things for yourself, trying to be happy in what you are doing. And there's a fantastic moment where you can rent a boat, and the kid of the person who rents the boats like wants to go on a boat ride with you because they're bored, obviously sitting at the office all day trying to rent this boat out. So they give you an obstacle course to do. The first time you do it, there's a big jump on it and you hit the ramp and it cuts to this like Fast and the Furious action shot, and they've just got the dumbest look on their faces as they realize they made a big mistake by going over this ramp.
That's really good.
Genuinely fun and heartwarming. One of the things I've left this till last is because Boston, I think we missed a trick by not having this on your 2023 music list.
Oh, really?
Specifically, like, you guys know how much I talk about soundtracks on this show, so you know how little it makes an impression on me, generally speaking. Not that it makes a little impression, just nothing's really memorable enough to stick with me. I'll always go back to the same two answers. One Winged Angel and Normandy Reborn, best two tracks in video game music, period. This game has a track called Snow, Lots of Snow, by Mark Sparling. I don't know if he is a renowned video game or musician or what his deal is, but I specifically need to shout out this track because as you're going up the mountain, when you get to a certain point, it becomes cold and you can't regain your stamina, the feathers, the golden feathers, without going into like a hot spring. And when you get to the point where you're about to hit the peak, it has this wonderful piece of music where it starts with like this piano motif that's a little dark and a little anxiety inducing. But then as you get higher and higher up the mountain, it layers in a new version or a new part of the song with a higher key piano piece that's full of hope. And it's just this wonderful little piece of music that in that moment, at that exact time, was perfect. Like, it was the best piece of music for that moment. And it's just like, yeah, cool. This is I'm putting this somewhere because I need to remember this song. I need to remember this moment. And like I know how it's saved on like my YouTube videos, so I can listen to it. There's two variations. He has a short hike version and a quote unquote long hike version, which is just the track elongated essentially to. I think it loops a couple of times, but I just wanted to shout out that piece of music because it's so good. Like, I have genuine.
Put it on the list.
It's really great.
I've always meant to play this game because everybody who plays it has largely had the same response you did, which is like, yeah, this is a cool little thing that is more than it seems, but way chiller and maybe kind of the right game I need right now. And it only, I think even if you do everything, it only takes you like a handful of hours at most. Like, it's not a big 50-hour sort of thing.
Yeah, hold on. I'll see if TA has my hours for it.
I own it already because like half of the time, I think it's normally only a couple of bucks, and it's on sale almost all the time for like now it's $1.75.
Currently on Game Pass as well, by the way, and PC Game Pass. Yeah. 4 hours and 41 minutes was the amount of time I put into this game. And that's full gamer score run. That's not just play at your leisure kind of run. Sure. That is everything. It's so fun. It's so ridiculous in so many different moments, and like I said, just chill. But I had to give the music that particular track, that particular moment, that shout out, because that's one of the reasons why Normandy Reborn is one of my favorite pieces of music, because it hits so much harder because of the context it's used in the game.
Right.
And in this game, that moment where you've got your golden feathers, you know you have enough to make it to the peak now, and then as you're making it to the peak, that side of the music kick, it just spoke to me on so many different levels, and nothing but appreciation for it.
Yeah. So it's 2019's A Short Hike.
Uh-huh.
Check it out. You might already own it.
Yep. And it is on Game Pass, like I said, both PC and Xbox. If you want to give it a shot there, that's all I've been playing.
I was also just looking, and it looks like it's been in a bunch of Humble bundles too. So, might want to search your inbox. You might have a code for it or something like that. I
probably have a code for it, don't I? Because I bought like 5 Humble bundles over the past 2 years.
Yeah, so you probably own it somewhere already. All right, Nim, what have you been playing this past week?
All right. I'm going to do a couple quick ones, so you don't need to pull videos for these. But Legends of Heroes Reverie, I've beaten that.
Oh, nice.
Towards the end, it got to be a little too much because you have 50-plus party members.
Oh, God.
And the having that many was not the issue. Especially since in the final dungeon it splits it in half, so it's like, oh, you 25 are going this route, the other 25 are going this route, kind of thing. And they do the cool split, dungeon thing where you play as half the group for this part and half the group for the other part, and you're helping to progress. The problem was every time there was a GD cutscene, and every member had to put in their 2 cents of affirmation.
Sounds good, boss. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Me too.
It's like, I don't need to hear this from all of you.
My
shut
sword,
up.
my liege. It's like, shut up.
So yeah, fun game. Enjoyed it. I am ready for Daybreak. Next game, Granblue Fantasy Relink, the demo.
Mm-hmm.
I do have the actual game over here. I'm not going to play that anytime soon, but I knocked out the demo real quick, which is still available. You've got the tutorial, there's a story mission, and there's 3 quests that you can pull. This game features a auto combat mode, which I tried on the last quest that you have available to you in the demo. The auto battler is actually really, really competent. Your party of 4, the other 3 still handle themselves just fine. You basically just keep pushing your character towards the enemy to make sure that they do what they need to do for attacking. And they just do it. It looks like they might do dodging as well, because there was a point where I got a perfect dodge when I didn't even attempt to dodge an attack. But I don't know if they use items or not by themselves. But the rest of my party was constantly healing my character, so I didn't even have to worry about that either. So I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, the Granblue Fantasy Relink game. The actual game is out, but if you're interested, check out the demo since that's free. The other game that's going to take me a little bit. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission. Boy, there's a lot to go on. No, this is the DLC that came out for the remake.
Yeah, it's confusing because there's Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Super confusing.
And then there's Final Fantasy VII Intermission, which is the DLC. But there's also Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is just the package that includes both of them.
Yes.
Which is...
confusing. Let's talk about how even more confusing this is when you were just trying to buy the DLC, because every version of this game is on there, but not every version is something that you can currently purchase. And you don't want to purchase the more expensive version of it if you already own the regular version of the game.
Right. And they keep pushing. It's actually a really good deal, but they keep pushing it a little bit too much, where you can pre-order Rebirth you get Remake Intergrade along with it for free, which is a really great deal. But I need to buy one little slice, not the whole pie. Thank you.
Yes. So, Boston, you had mentioned, I think last time when I wasn't here, that you still have yet to play this.
I'm about halfway through it because it's only like 4 hours long or something. Like it's very short. I think I've played about 2 hours.
Okay, it is also on sale until what is it? The 15th. It's on sale for $15.
Okay,
It's
that's
normally
pretty cheap.
39. Yeah, so that's why I
pretty
picked it up.
expensive.
It is. The story is fine. The game still looks beautiful. I still enjoy playing Migdar. I still hate the battle system for this.
Yeah. Are you
didn't like
active
it.
or what's the
Yes, I
turn-based
was
one in this
active.
called?
Command
Okay.
focused or whatever. I did try the command in the original game when that released way back when, because I was going back and forth. Command doesn't feel good. Active doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I didn't.
But
I got used to active, especially playing as Tifa, as I thought active worked better playing as Tifa. But the original release of this game, you'd always start the battle as Cloud by default, and then you'd have to switch, so it's annoying to just switch all the time. But you're right, Command never felt... It was trying to split the difference between active, which is your button presses directly relate to an action. So
they were trying to make it an action RPG, and somehow they screwed that up, even though they have several action RPGs under their belt.
Right.
And the command, like you were saying, it just doesn't feel good at all.
Yeah, it feels... There's something about it that's off that I can never put my finger on, but it was always sort of like, yeah, this isn't really... I know that there's a hesitation from them, and I understand from a design perspective that they don't want to put, hey, here's the turn-based mode in it, because that's not the game they are making, but then just don't put the command mode in there.
Yeah, just make it a full action RPG then.
Right, just have
as
the one
much as I hate
mode.
saying that out loud,
right.
Choose one or the other.
But I think it should be an action RPG with way more accessibility options. And I think that would serve the needs of more people that are trying to play it than it having these two modes that kind of don't
work.
Maybe meet everybody's needs.
Yeah, but so outside of me not liking how the game controls in battle, the exploration of revisiting the slums again, because I haven't played the remake since I had beaten it. I have no interest in doing the hard mode because that's just stupid and a pain.
It seemed punishing.
Super punishing. Even watching people who completed it, they're like, I didn't feel a sense of accomplishment besides
I have the platinum, thank God.
Yeah, besides screw you, I did it. That was but yeah, so this by itself is fine. I still really love the mixes that they throw in for the music.
They're very good.
The turtle theme, the Happy Turtle Bar theme song is really awesome. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to play as Yuffie just because she has her throwing type weapon, which nobody else, I mean, Barrett's the only other range character that you get. Kind of Aerith is a little bit, but mostly because of materia. So playing with her ranged weapon was cool because you have the option to throw it and it's constantly attacking an enemy that you've selected. And while that's happening, she has like a different set of commands where she can basically do ninjutsu while her attacks are going. And so you can sit there and combine elements and do this, that, and the other. And it was fun and enjoyed it. And I loved seeing Yuffie. I liked listening to her voice actress does a really good job.
I think she's really good, yeah.
Yeah. She's still super goofy, which she was supposed to be, the comedy relief if you found her. I really hope in Rebirth there is the whole make sure you don't ever turn your screen off from her or else she'll steal all of your stuff from you.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, for $15, I enjoyed it. This being $39 is kind of a lot, which is why I never bought it to begin with.
That's a little much, yeah.
Yeah, but the extra little story you get's fine. So, intermission, it was fine. I beat it. I think my playtime altogether was like 4 hours just to beat it.
That's not bad.
So, yeah. My next game. Which one do I want to go into next? I'll do Remnant from the Ashes. I played this Tuesday with Feyror. We started going through the swamps. I don't remember if we fought a boss or not. I think we did. I think it was like a mini boss or something. I don't know. It's been a weird week. But anyway, we got through there. We found Tatiana, the fairy queen. And that's when it clued me in that we're gonna be doing the stupid fairy boss on the bridge. I just know it. And
It's got to be the only one, right? Like, there's no other way.
I haven't looked it up, but I've been told that there is a different boss fight for that.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe people have lied to me, or maybe there's a specific condition. Maybe you have to beat the bridge the first time and then it swaps.
Oh, sure,
I don't know.
Maybe.
But man, that bridge fight. Oh yeah, that's right. The guy. Okay, I will get to the boss fight because now that they've put it in chat, I remember what we fought. But anyway.
Oh, I remember that boss.
So we got to that point. The boss fight that we did was the giant butcher-looking thing with a metal thong.
Yep. That's a tough boss fight. We struggled with that a couple times.
We did too. It was at this point that Angel Eye was able to get on, and they were in the middle of making a character, and they were getting up to the point where they could make a public game or a joinable game. So while Faeror and I are fighting this boss and strategizing and yelling at the boss and crying for it to leave us alone, Angel Eye is just listening to us while he's going, and he's like asking us questions like, "Hey, what does this do?" So the thong boss was not horrific. The horrific part was when we found out that its weak point are its butt cheeks.
Yep. We discovered that as well, and we were like, "Oh, it's..."
Hold on.
Yep.
No. Yeah, you didn't miss here.
Is this the same as like Ceaseless Mass, which is just like horrible, gross things for you to hit?
It's not horrifically gross or anything. I actually started laughing really hard when I realized what the weak point was.
Yep.
Because then we also found out shooting it from the front when you're hitting the thong, if you shoot it enough times, you get the armor piercing trait.
Right.
Faeror discovered that. I forgot about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. So then I start shooting it from the front until I get the trait.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny too because you have the way the room is set up. You walk into like this giant cabin basically, which is proportionate to the size of the boss. And there's like little hallways and stuff. Nothing big, but there's like walls up and stuff and some dividers and things. And that boss has no hesitation of busting through those walls.
Yep. Or like picking you up and knocking, like carrying you through a couple of walls.
Yes. Yeah. Or tracking you, where it will throw its hammer at you.
Oh, that's right.
And it does it through the wall.
Right.
I knew this. Faeror did not. Faeror had a couple of issues.
Right. I'll be safe over here. No, I'm not.
Yeah. But overall, it took us several tries to fight that because we were trying to figure out, like, okay, what do we... It was mostly the ads that was giving us the problem because we would start taking out the ads, and then the thing would bust through a wall. And I was like, all right, let's try to figure this out. And then last minute, we both managed to get it just in time for Angel Eye to get to the point where we could start joining his game. So we both jump into his game. Instantly have networking issues all of a sudden, so we all had to restart our consoles and all that stuff, which we hadn't really had an issue with before. One of us or all of us may have just been having an issue at the time. So once we got that figured out, once we all finally got into the game, because we got into the game at one point, and then I think Faeror got kicked out, and then the network just got dropped for the rest of us.
Oh boy.
And it was at the most inopportune moment because we are helping Angel Eye through the start, and I basically tell Faeror, it's like, okay, you can be the Sherpa for him since I was for you, and we'll carry this on.
Yeah.
And they start engaging like this elite enemy, the one with like the bone face and the giant bone, and it will in the city, and it will run after you. Angel Eye hasn't experienced that thing before, so Faeror gets its attention. They start shooting at it. Faeror disconnects.
Oh, no.
And like clockwork, that thing just hones in on Angel Eye.
I'm all alone.
And he starts yelling at me. He's like, hey, I need help. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, I wasn't even paying attention to them. I was off doing my own thing. And I go running up. And I'm like, what? Why? Where'd Faeror go? Why are you fighting this thing by yourself?
What happened?
We managed to take it on, and then that was when we started all having networking issues. So we got him through the sewers. We got him through his first main boss, which was a different boss than what Pharaoh and I did. So we got an extra boss weapon out of it.
Nice.
Which is great. And our current goal is whenever it's just Pharaoh and I, we will just continue on their game.
Mm-hmm.
When Angel Eye is able to come on, we'll both jump into Angel Eye's game, help them out, and pretty much get them caught up to where we're at. That way we can all just jump into Pharaoh's game eventually.
Right.
So that's the plan right now. And
nice.
I don't know what it is about this game, but this game, this is the 4th or 5th time I've replayed this game, and it's just joy.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
So good.
So I did play a little bit of Remnant 2 by myself.
Nice.
Met a couple of randos online that were really good to play with. Didn't have any issues. They weren't automatically racist, and I was like, all right, cool. Great. This is going well so far. It's like, yay, everybody wins.
Right.
My possibly last game, let me double check. Yes, my last game is The Legend of Naytoa Boundless Trails.
Okay.
JRPG ass names.
Yes, sir. This is a port of the PSP game that came out.
Oh, now I'm interested.
Hold on. You get a port of this PSP game. Where is our Dark Death Devilman Legend of the Oberdin, whatever the name of that game was called on the PSP?
ZHP?
Why can't we get a port of that? Thank you. Unlosing Ranger versus Dark Death Devilman.
That's already out. It's available now.
On Xbox? I don't think so.
I'll double check.
Well, if it makes you feel better, this game is also not available on Xbox, so...
Dude, I'm getting some real FOMO this week with everybody. I talked about it last week. I'm very interested in Helldivers 2. Problem is, the only way I can play it is on PC.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know if I have a strong enough group of friends to constantly play on PC.
You can play with PlayStation players as well. PC and PlayStation have crossplay.
Yeah, I know, but everyone I know plays on the green console.
I was gonna get Helldivers, so
there you go.
Okay, maybe
I'll tell you what. We'll talk after, and we'll
on the
strategize.
Steam page it says you need a PSN account, which is hilarious to me.
Oh, there you go. It's getting you ready. You're just missing the console.
I already have a PSN account, dude.
Well, see, there you go. Well, that's your old British one, isn't it? UK one?
No, I actually have two. I have
okay.
Moonpia, which is my English one, because you can't change your regions on the PlayStation. And I have a second account, which is my Moonpia US account. And that is my American account, because that is I'm not paying £60 when I live in America to pay $90 for the same game. I'm not Australian. I don't have to do that.
Right.
So, Legends of Naytoa. This is only tied to the Trails of games by theory. Your character's last name is the same last name of one of the characters in the Trails of series. There's also a couple different things, like Mishi, the gray cat that I actually have up back there. There's a live one in this game that just randomly hides on the island that you're on, and you just get to find it randomly, and everyone just kind of comments on, this is a strange creature that's just here.
Right.
No one knows anything about it.
Squint and the connections are there.
Yeah. So since this is a PSP game, they did not up the graphics. So this looks like
I was about to say this looks like a PSP game in a way that I really dig.
That is kind of what draws me into these dumb things. It's Falcom, don't change. So the general story of this is that you are on this tiny remote island, and eventually you leave to go to through a scholarship to go to an academy on the mainland. You come back a year later on your summer break, you and your friend.
Do you have amnesia when you come back?
No. However, amnesia does play a part in this, just not for your main character. You're not too far off the mark. Actually, your friend that went to the academy with you and also came back with you for spring break They mysteriously showed up on the island 5 years prior with no prior memories whatsoever.
There you go.
There's your trope number one. Eventually, you find out that ruins just randomly dropped from the sky around this island, which is why this island is called Reministic Island or something like that. The island is completely made up of ruins that have just fallen from the sky. Nobody knows where they're coming from. Nobody knows why this is happening. As you continue on, you eventually find out that, oh, hey, there's this place called Lost Heaven that everyone's been looking for. It's supposed to be considered a paradise. And we just happened to find a gate to get into this place.
Or
Is it full of soldiers without borders?
I was just about to say, like,
yes.
Are you building nukes? Oh my god.
So, once you get into this other world, that's when you can actually start doing exploration and finding, because the island that you're at is basically just meant to be a hub. There's quests that you can pick up and do inside the island and all this stuff. You can buy weapons, items, all that fun crap. Since this was a mobile game, a PSP mobile game, all the levels that you're in are actually very short. You have basically a wide area that you get to pick from. There's 4 different actual continents to pick from. On each continent, there's like a couple different areas for you to select on, usually like 4 or 5 that you can go through. Each one of those levels can be done within like 5 minutes at the most.
Oh,
unless
nice.
so they're meant to be short because this was meant to be a kind of on-the-go game.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. So yeah, you can go in and you can knock out like a bunch of areas or a bunch of levels, get a bunch of items, go back to the island, sell your stuff, get better equipment, go back in, keep on exploring. That's basically the flow of it.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing is once you beat the boss for a continent, it then opens up seasons for that continent.
Oh.
So you can change, like the first one that you get, it's in autumn, the first continent that you go to. So you do all that stuff and then, oh, hey, you beat the boss. Now you can choose winter for that continent, which increases the levels for all the enemies in the thing. And it also changes each level within that map. So paths that were closed to you because it was autumn time and, something weird was growing in the section, that section's now gone and dead because it's winter time. But another section that you were going through in autumn is blocked off by like ice. So they just do fine little changes. There's different enemies that spawn because of wintertime. Like the different seasons all are different level appropriate areas now. So you basically just do that. You just explore, go back to the island, sell your stuff. There's a museum that you start to fill with items that you find, and then you start getting money from filling those, and you can go through and just look at all the fish that you found, the armor set that you found, all these fossils. Like I've got a giant T-Rex in my museum now that I've put together.
Jeez.
All the bugs that you find.
Is this JRPG Animal Crossing?
Kind of.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
My son and I, when I first started playing it, it's like, man, these graphics kind of remind me of Dark Cloud. And then really
don't summon that. Do not.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Thing.
Because then I got a pang in my heart for, man, I miss Dark Cloud.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it took me just short of 15 hours to beat this game. I rolled credits on it twice because there is a final chapter, and then once you beat the game, there is a after story chapter, which isn't really a requirement to play because you can't make the clear save data until you've beaten the after story thing. Which kind of sucks, but whatever. It's not that long. You basically are doing like a boss rush, so that way you can get to max level, fight the true final boss, and then you get a conclusion, and then you can create your save data, or your clear save data. So all of that took me about 15 hours to beat.
That's not bad.
No. New Game Plus, I haven't tried. I'm not going to try right now because I'm trying to beat games, not get sucked fully into one. You can bring everything you've ever earned over into New Game Plus.
Nice.
This also increases the level cap. From the level cap your first time through is level 50. It increases it to 99.
Okay.
You also have like a whole host of new game plus only quests, new game plus only like extra bosses.
Oh boy.
And like a bunch of other stuff. Like they add like a ton of stuff to this. You don't get additional story though. They didn't do that whole thing where it's like, oh, if you want the true ending, you
right.
you have to
the second half of the game.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just what you got for the story your first time through is what it is.
Right.
But it was just a lot of fun. There's a lot of Metroidvania and East kind of stuff because the combat's more along like the SNES East, where it's like you're running around, you're jumping, you're attacking, you're trying to pull like these dumb little combos off and all that. You get a little fairy called Noi, who can cast magic for you, and the magic's called seasonal arts.
Okay.
And they're all kinds of exactly. They're all kinds of fun little dumb things, but you get them from beating tough enemies. Once you do, you unlock an additional seasonal art. When you first start out, she can only equip one, but I'm at the point now where she can equip 4 of them. And you level those up just by using them. You don't have to hit anything with them. You just have to use it. So when it says, hey, this seasonal art needs 15 to go to level 2, you can just sit there if you wanted to and spam it 15 times.
Right.
And you'll level up.
Stronger.
Exactly. The only catch is that some of them have all of them actually have a certain amount of stock that they have. So like the default one that you get, I think it starts out with like 15 stock, and then you have to wait for the little bar to sit there and recharge every stock. And they all recharge at different rates. There was one that I got that was called Soul Eraser, SOL, not SOUL.
Okay.
And it summons a sun or a
Great.
star, but specifically the sun. And it just causes massive area damage, and it sits there and does that.
Okay.
And that was like the first big one that I unlocked, and I used that for a good portion of the game because it was pretty much a summon it and then just watch it kill things.
Right.
But that one takes, I want to say that thing takes like a full minute, maybe a minute 30, and you only get 1 stock. So you have to wait for that thing. But meanwhile, you have other spells that you can use while you're waiting for that to increase or, restock itself.
Right.
So fun little mix and match game. Elements don't really matter in this. You do get other elements like ice. There's water. There's like grass and poison and stuff like that. But it's not like element-based damage. It's just, oh, hey, it has a chance to poison if it does. It has a chance to cause like paralysis or confusion and stuff like that if it happens to. But it's never this thing's immune to poison damage, so this spell's useless now kind of thing. That's not a factor at all. So for a fun little PSP game that I somehow missed back in that heyday,
right,
I really, really enjoyed this game, surprisingly. The story's kind of meh.
Yeah.
But the gameplay was enough to like suck me in and just keep me going. So, yeah.
Nice.
Legend of Naytoa. It was a very, very fun and interesting game. But that's all I've been playing this week.
All right, I have had an incredibly busy week, and I was actually trying to finish SteamWorld Build this week, which I have successfully done. Sometimes we are led down the correct path by how long to beat, and sometimes we are led grossly astray, and this was the latter for this one for sure.
Sometimes you really notice, like, oh, you didn't do anything but speed run this, and that's how you got 5 hours. Where I'm sitting here, hour 15.
Yeah, they're like, it'll take you like 8 hours, and I finished it in double that. So, yeah. Anyways, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, continuing to play that as I can this week. I'm now on chapter 5. I actually had so we've complained about this enough, and everybody else has had the same experience of, so I want to get to the Animal Crossing part of this game, because I'm assuming that's the part where you make the money, because that's how it goes in all of these games, and you are turbo poor until you get to the one game that just makes you bajillions of dollars. And I'm like, man, I haven't gotten to that game at that part of this game at this point. I'm gonna roll the dice and do a Google search for how I unlock this, because either I'm gonna get an answer right away of like, here it is. It's, for anyone else knows, it's at the beginning of chapter 6, or I'll get the thing where it's like, it takes place at the beginning of chapter 6. After, I'm just gonna make up a fake spoiler where like all of your party members die, and be like, bro, what, for real? Are you seriously? So thankfully,
this is when you find out that so and so was the masked villain all along.
Right. It's like,
come on, guys.
Man, for real? I'm like 5 minutes away from that. So I was able to search that, and I was like, all right. I really needed to know, is it chapter 6 or is it chapter 13? Like how far off am I from it? Thankfully I'm pretty close, so I'll make a beeline over there. But I did do the first real dungeon in the game, which is actually pretty good. I met Danny Trejo's character, who I am playing this game in Japanese, so hearing not Danny Trejo's voice come out of Danny Trejo is a real weird, like, Death Stranding moment of like, yeah, that's not that dude's voice. Okay, cool. Looks exactly like him, but sure, all right. That dungeon was actually really cool. I, again, really appreciate the game telling me, hey, you're going to go into this dungeon. Here's the gear, the relative gear quality you should have. Here's the level you should have. And it was 100% right. I was way over geared and way over leveled for that, and I stomped that dungeon, and it was great. So I now have another party member, which is really good. I now have 4 party members in my my party. I can also craft and upgrade gear, and it's so much better in this game, because in the last game you had a like gear crafting and upgrade system, but the menu wasn't laid out super well, so it was kind of a bear to get anything upgraded. So at some point you're like, all right, I'm gonna pick one weapon, I'm just gonna upgrade that, and I'm gonna kind of be done with it. Thankfully this one is laid out way better. It even has, when you go into the crafting or upgrade menu, it has a bunch of big icons that are like, here's the weapons for the hero class, here's the weapons for the homeless guy class, here's the weapons for the heiress class, like, and then when you select that, it gives you all of the weapons for that specific class. So it's like, oh, I just got this person, so now I need to go craft or upgrade something specifically for them. It's way easier to go do that now. Cool. And I talked about the battle system a bunch recently, like where you're knocking enemies into other enemies, and you're kind of doing knockdown stuff between party members. I actually hadn't realized this until now. One thing that really drove me crazy in the previous game is if you were running across the field to another enemy, like one party member knocked someone down all the way across the field, you do a ton of extra damage if another party member will hit the enemy while they're laying on the ground. So your priority is, I'm going to quickly pick another party member, pick that enemy, and then go dash over there and hit them for like at least double damage. In the previous game, if you were running past an enemy on the field as you were running to the one that's down, almost always they would just kind of hit you as you're going by and do a little bit of damage, but stop your attack.
They have like an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, and like it never did enough damage to really do anything other than piss you off, because you're like, I'm running past you, like I just need to make this attack happen. I looked at the PS5's menu. I've played this for a little over 25 hours. I haven't seen that happen at all. So I hope that's a new feature in this game, that they can't do that, because a lot of it was like, boy, I'm just flying through this battle, and it's like, just trying to attack this dude at the back, and I'm just getting bothered the entire time. So hopefully that's not the case, because that drove me nuts. But still, so far so good. There's a lot of story stuff that's happening that I don't want to talk about. I really wish Sega hadn't disclosed so much of this story in some of the last couple of trailers, because there are some story beats that probably would have hit pretty hard had Sega not just been like, and here's what's happening with this person, blut. It's like, oh, that's the crux of their story. Okay, cool, thanks.
That's why you don't watch trailers.
Well, the thing is like, I was expecting it to be more like, they put out like a story trailer. I was like, oh, this is going to be a great like story overview of here's what happened in the last one. Here's what is the, like the foundation of what's happening in this game. Or it'll be like one of the old like MGS2 trailers where it's like, it's 20 minutes and that didn't tell me anything. But no, it was a Sega trailer. So
I think, didn't a lot of people complain about that with the story trailer for Rebirth that came out recently too from Square?
I haven't watched it because I'm gonna play
I haven't
it,
either,
so,
because
like,
I heard a bunch of people complain that there were spoilers in there, and I didn't know for it.
I have too, and like that game is especially hard because it's like, all right, is it spoilers of stuff that happened in the original game, or is it spoilers in a wink wink, here's what's different in this game sort of way? I kind of can't tell because, like the internet always does, they're just mad about it, but the details don't matter. Shut up, I'm mad. You know, it's like, it's that whole thing. So,
because it's always on or off with people. Either you're gonna get spoiled trying to figure out what's being spoiled, or no one's gonna talk about it.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not really mad about the stuff that Sega showed. It's just a little bit of a bummer that's like, well, that probably would have hit a little bit harder.
On it.
Yeah, it's like it would have hit a little harder if I had run that into that in the game. But a lot of it came from like chapter 3 and 4, so like I'm still at the beginning, so it's fine. So I'm not too super upset. My last game here, I played the Skull and Bones open beta. Well,
so
we'll get into it.
Exists. Yeah,
it is a playable thing. I'm probably not breaking NDA, but I have been invited to multiple closed beta tests for this. But they always took part on times that I absolutely did not have the time to play it, so I didn't play any of those. So
out of curiosity, I know this is now 3-player co-op. Is it only PvE or is it PvP still? Because if it's PvE or PvP, that's going to define whether I add it to a list at some point.
I have not run into any PvP. Also, it is up to 5-player co-op. So you can play with a bunch of people. I've been playing it solo because I don't want to play with other people. I so far have been pretty impressed by it. I played the tutorial. They give you have a big battle at the beginning where it's like, man, look how cool these graphics are. We can do all this cool stuff. I played through that and I got to the tutorial area, which is kind of a series of small islands where you're really figuring out how do you sail around, how do you control the boat, how do you loot things, how do you do quests, like how do you open up this ship that you need to go into. It's really easy to control. I'm sure the comparison will continue, but it does remind me a lot of was the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. 4. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Black Flag, which is exactly the thing that you want this game to remind you of. It does remind me a lot of that. I wish that there was a little bit more character customization for your character. Like, I wish there were more hair colors, wish there were more hairstyles, but I kind of always wish that in Ubisoft games, so I'm not too surprised by that. Voice acting so far has been pretty good. Story at the beginning kind of doesn't really matter so much. It's a lot of like, I'm pirates, ha ha ha, I double-crossed you, ha ha ha, get out of here, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So far, I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the tutorial. Got to the point where the tutorial ended, and I can't connect to the game. So I can't start the rest of the game. So
nice.
I would like to play the rest of the open beta. I think it runs until the game comes out this week, as far as I can tell. But I don't know because I've been trying to connect for the last 2 days, and it basically does the video game thing that I hate, where it's like, whoopsie poopsie, we can't connect. Sorry. And it's like, yeah, but like,
why don't you try checking your network and make sure it's working?
I don't even get that. It's just like, I can't connect to the open world server.
That error
Hey, Boston?
infuriates me.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Don't you remember? You could just take the disc, hand it to your friend, and then
That's
they
right.
can play it too.
Right. The frustrating part is like, if you could give me a little bit of information, that would be great to see if I could figure out what the problem is, or if Twitter was usable at all, or Reddit for that fact, that would be great too. But at this point, it's sort of like, cool, I guess I'll wait for the full game to come out and hope that works. I'm assuming this is going to have a really rough launch, just because it's an online game and Ubisoft doesn't seem to care about this. So we'll see. But I don't know. I'm... Go ahead.
Speaking of online games that Ubisoft don't care about, I will be playing The Crew for the next couple of weeks before it gets The
Crew 1 or 2?
One, dude,
Okay.
one. It has already been delisted from all of the stores, and I got as many achievements to wrap up as I can before that thing gets disconnected from servers on March 31st. So if you're a listener and you happen to have a disc copy of The Crew kicking around, or it's still for some reason installed on your game,
there you go.
Feel free to let me know, because I'll be playing it for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, I've always been, beyond the show meme, I've always had kind of half an eye on this as like, all right, Black Flag was great. You make kind of like an open world co-op thing out of that. I could see how that could work. That could be pretty interesting, but try to avoid some of the stuff that frustrates from Sea of Thieves, and maybe you kind of have a winning combination that differentiates itself from Sea of Thieves here. So maybe that'll be cool, and so far this seems pretty neat, but I guess I'll have to wait until it comes out and then drops to $40 within the first couple of weeks to maybe check it out. So that's Skull and Bones. Seems fine so far, I think. All right, that's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
It's Ubisoft fine so far.
100%. You got it. Time is at 4:45. All right. Gotta wrap this thing up. Oh, I just realized Moon and I still need to record something else after this. Biscuits.
Two things, dude. Two things, dude.
Why do we have two things?
We roguelike it, and we have Dune Book Part 2, or Part 1, I should say. Say two things.
I didn't agree to that.
Yes, you did.
I don't know if I have time for that. We'll talk about that after.
We roguelike it won't take long. Neither will Book Part 2. Book Part 2 is probably going to be shorter than We Roguelike It, dude.
Maybe. I don't know. You get us started up talking about Dune. We just keep going, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, for us to talk about it, me and Boston to each other, it may be short.
Right.
Here's a sneak peek.
We have, between the two of us, a 10-mile lake that's an inch deep.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have fucking Lake Superior over there.
Right.
Hey. Well, I'm going to say literally a sneak peek of how the Doom Book 2 Part 1 is going to go. Boston, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know.
Says 3 paragraphs. We're done.
Yep. Yeah. All right, you guys ready to do this next segment?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right.
Let's fly.
Boy, I hope they find some water. They seem very parched in that first spot.
Dune.
Moisture.
Yeah.
Moisture. Not
That's right.
water, moisture.
Moisture is the key.
Yes.
That's right. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of February 12th, 2024. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. Hey, it's a new Don't
Speaking
Nod
of
game.
games that are on my list.
Yeah.
I was like, what's this crap? And then it was like, oh no, it's Don't Nod. Oh no.
Apparently they're not happy just putting out Jusant a couple months ago. They're like, hey, here's a new third-person action hack-and-slash shooting RPG with 2 characters and a bunch of ghosts and decisions.
The last one of these was incredible.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who haven't listened to the show in a while, that's Vampire. If you can, you should totally play that game. It is great.
Yep. Yeah, so I hadn't heard about this until we talked about this on Pup for this last month, and I was like, "What is Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden? What is this game?" And I watched the trailer, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Xbox fed this to me through the store, and it was like, because you like, and then it gave me a bunch of don't know games. Tried this,
right? Because you like Vampire, and it's like, wait a minute, I did. All right, yeah. So this actually looks pretty interesting. Watching, there's some overview trailers and some gameplay stuff. Looks like a fairly straightforward kind of hack and slash thing, but if I know Dontnod when they make these games, it's probably going to be way more interesting than it looks via just gameplay footage, and there'll probably be some really cool decision-based things. So,
yes. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, in Vampire, you got better XP depending on how well you knew the person you were about to feed on. Just for the record.
Yeah, so I am very curious to see. I'm assuming this probably won't review well, but I'm curious to see
probably not
people that are gonna, like, regular peeps that are gonna play it, how they enjoy it. So keeping an eye on this one. Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. It's a real weird title. Next up is Dragon Quest Builders. The first one comes out on PC. You're probably asking the question, wait, didn't that come out on PC already? And the answer is somehow no. So also the second one, not out on PC, also not coming out now either. So weird. If anyone doesn't remember,
so much better because they add so many quality of life stuff to it.
So a bunch of the quality of life stuff they added to the mobile version of this and to 2, they've backported into this one, which is also odd. So if anyone doesn't know, this is the Dragon Quest Minecraft game that people seem to really love, and I never played it because everybody said that 2 was infinitely better. And if you haven't played the first one, you shouldn't, and you should just go play 2. So
I mean, the first one was great for their first attempt at doing it, but the second one fixes so much stuff that it's like they should just remake the first one so that way it has all that, like they did with the PC version, apparently.
Yeah, so curious to see when they'll come out with the second one. Maybe it will be another 7 years after the initial release. Who knows? Who knows what's going on in the brain of Square Enix other than NFT rot? Next up is a game called Ultros. Comes out PS4, PS5, and PC. This is being billed as a psychedelic Cosmos Metroidvania, which, number 1, looks incredible. Number 2, sure, I could play another Metroidvania. Why not? I've been keeping an eye on...
You just beat one, so you've got another one to get.
Yeah, I've got just a Metroidvania hole in my heart. Let's put more in there. I've been keeping an eye on this one for a while because I think if you see footage of this game, I think my first reaction was, oh man, what is this thing? There aren't a lot of games that look like this, so I'm excited to see more of this, and then to hear, oh, it's a cool, like, cosmic Metroidvania. It's like, sure, why not? I could be into that. So very curious to check out Ultros at some point here. Well, a little to the left is our next game here. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, PC, OS X, iOS, and Android. This is Game Pass day and date. This is the organization game that was pretty big on
Day of the Devs.
Yeah, Day of the Devs 2 years ago, year and a half ago, something like that, where you're kind of sorting and shuffling things around to have them fit in some sort of order. They
have like a bunch of different solutions as well, if I remember correctly.
Right, and the one piece of feedback that they have heard is in early versions of this, there's a cat that can come in and kind of mess stuff up while you're playing. You can turn that off if you really don't want that, or if that infuriates you, as would be understandable. So this seems very much like a game that, hey, did you like unpacking? You're probably going to like A Little to the Left. It's going to be one of those cool, organize, move stuff around games. So I've been hoping this would come to consoles for a while. So I'm happy to see it coming out this week. And hopefully, I don't know what the price is. I keep meaning to try and find prices for some of this stuff. But I'm hoping it's reasonably priced because I could play a relaxing game at this point. Why not? I'd be in the mood for that. And next up, we have Plate Up coming out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and Switch. This is Game Pass day and date. Thank you, Moon. This came out on PC about a year and a half ago. It's one of those kind of crazy chaos restaurant running things.
A little to the left is $15.
Oh, that's a good price for it. So I'll pick that up for $15. Why not? So Plate Up is one of those, like, you can play this solo, but you're probably going to want to play it co-op and yell at a bunch of your friends where it's like, no, I need the chicken nuggets, and like, you got the chicken strips, I can't, there's 4 customers. One of those sort of games. So you've probably seen your favorite YouTuber play it already, so check that out. Next up here is Mario vs. Donkey Kong coming out for the Switch. This is the remake of the Game Boy Advance game that I really liked back when it came out. This is the kind of puzzle platformer thing that I played a lot of the Game Boy Advance when this came out. I really, really liked it. And I'm hoping that this version is really good, because if it is, that'll be a huge recommendation for me. It was really great on the Game Boy Advance. And it's just a 2D side-scrolling kind of challenge sort of thing that I thought was really great. You should check it out. And last but not least, Skull and Bones, PS5, Series consoles, and PC. So I am very curious. I'm assuming this, like we just said, this launch will probably be a little bit spicy. I am going to be picking this up, but probably not for $70+, because if you look back at literally every Ubisoft game that has ever come out in the last 15 years, this thing will be $40 within probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. So
yeah,
I think I'll probably wait for that and wait for the launch shenanigans to die down. If it successfully gets through whatever launch problems they're going to have. Hopefully it doesn't have any Suicide Squad launch issues, thankfully.
Yeah, what's going on with AAA games lately, man?
Live service, fortunately.
Yeah.
It's not doing great things. So that's Skull and Bones, and that's our releases for this week, which means that's the end of our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including the link to the Discord server, the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe over there. All of that stuff really does help. Patreon.com/E1M1.
One's on your bars.
Don't forget to go over there, sign up for the $5 a month tier, the Fun for a Fiver tier. Please don't sue us. I don't think anyone owns that trademark or copyright or whatever, but don't look into it. Don't worry about it. Go check that out. That gets you everything, anything above and beyond that, especially whatever your very rich friend wants to pay. Just add a whole bunch of zeros to the end of that, or numbers, whatever. Greater than 0 would be great too. You just handle the whole thing. Everything, that all really does help. If you can't support us financially, we totally understand. Please share on social media, like, comment, subscribe, like we talked about. Rate the podcast wherever you can. All of that stuff really does help for discovery. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We do really appreciate it every week. We hope we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, man.
All right. Nimp, what are your titles?
I have The Things That Roar, Add Elements to My Grinder, Never Go for 3, Whoopee Cushion Squeeze to the Sky, and That's Not Danny Trejo's Voice.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Use emoji power for good. Add elements to my grinder. Never go for 3. The Demon Souls tradition. Lethal Company Club. Weak points are its butt cheeks, probably a veto. And
Yeah.
JRPG Animal Crossing.
That's stupid, boss.
Stupid boss. I have the Demon Souls tradition, the things that roar, add elements to my grinder, and whoopee cushion squeeze to the sky. Is there anything else I missed here on the big list?
I mean, if it's on all 3 of them, it has to be add elements to my grinder.
It's a pretty good one. The most non sequitur.
Yes. Also, probably the most double entendre title that we're allowed to do without actually doing it.
That's right. It's a real, like, Muppet Show title.
Uh-huh.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 851 for February 12th, 2024. Add elements to my grinder.
It's about to get hot in here.
I don't see that setting in my application.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.